for us to get on the couch. This is basically our therapy session where we get to take in your thoughts, your contributions, any challenges you might be going through, and especially as regards love and relationships. And then we help you get up and personal with a therapist and see if we can make sense of what it is that you're going through and perhaps prefer solutions for you as best as we can. So, I did say that we have a theme for the conversation today, but I'd like to start by sharing a story with you about a young couple. It was the husband, as a matter of fact, that posted this message and was asking for advice. And I thought, okay, this is definitely the way for us to get this conversation started. So let me get to the story straight away. But before I do that, remember to join us live. We are streaming on Facebook and YouTube. And so you might want to join in on the conversation from there as well. Just go to Nigeria Info Abuja if you want to have a more immersive experience of our conversation this evening. We are on the couch on Tonight with Somi. So let's see. Let's get to the story and then we'll get into the conversation. Okay. So as at the time this story was posted, this young man said he had been married to his wife for 4 months. But he said, my wife is very affectionate to the point that it's a bit suffocating. When I come home from work and she's at home, she runs over to me and hugs and kisses me. Then a lot of the time, she'll want to sit on my lap while I eat dinner and feed me my dinner as well. Then after that, she wants to cuddle if you're watching TV. And also when we're about to sleep, she wants to cuddle every night. She will also tell me she loves me like 5 times a day. And this is his problem. He says she's very sweet, don't get me wrong, but all the affection is not something I'm used to. It can be a bit much sometimes, and it almost comes off as childish. The other day, she asked if I could rest my head on her lap so she could give me a head massage. It felt nice. Then she bent down and tried to kiss me all over my face, and that's when I got up because it was just way too much. He says she looked a bit hurt, which he felt bad about. But he is also not comfortable with the level of affection that she's putting up. And so he says, how do I tell her to tone things down without hurting her feelings? I remember sharing the story with someone and the first reaction I got was, hi, God, please. How did I miss my road? This is what I'm looking for. This is what a lot of women are looking for. This is what a lot of men are looking for, rather. That's a wife that would shower them with love, shower them with affection, shower them with attention. You know, they want to touch you as soon as you're around. They just want to jump on you and hug you. And here is a man complaining about his wife who is this way. When I come home from work, she says, and she's at home, she runs over to me, hugs and kisses him. And he says these things come off as too much. He says they come off as her being childish. And so we will start by getting your reactions to this message. I mean, if you are listening in, call and let me know. Let's take the first 30 minutes to just get reactions. Do you agree that what this woman was doing was too much? Do you think that she was being childish? Or is this a God-when type of situation for you who is listening right now and saying, I need this in my life right now? How can someone be complaining about this? I'd like to get the conversation going by listening to your thoughts on this before we get into the couch session proper, where we're now talking love languages, because in my head I'm like, that's what I was hearing. It's like this person's love language is probably different. But our conversation on the couch today is going to be digging in very deep into this love language matter. I know we've talked about it sometimes here on the show, but is it actually a thing? Or is she just being extra? And are people who talk about these things just being extra? But let me hear from you at first, okay? This young couple is going through what they're going through because the man says she's too affectionate and is coming across as childish. Is this you? Are you the man in this situation? Are you the woman in this situation? What do you think is going on here? Let's start by hearing from you, okay? And then we'll take it from there. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Hello, good evening for me.
Yeah, good evening. Welcome.
This is Ben, the countryman from Westtown.
Good to have you here. Go ahead.
Okay, so, the man should just enjoy his wife now. It's just 4 months in marriage. He should enjoy every bit of the woman right now, because when the kids start coming, he will look for this affection, he will not find it. Because by that time, the woman's attention will move towards the children. So maybe he did not experience such love as a child growing up. There are families where they don't hug, they don't care, they're not affectionate themselves. I know my kids now, my kids are still very young, but they're already used to the hugging, the kissing, the good night kissing and everything. So imagine my daughter growing up to be that woman now, So it's based on the family background of that man. I think he should enjoy his wife now, because when the children start coming, he will look for that affection, he will not find it anymore. Somi.
All right, thank you. Thank you so much. So you stressed on that point, which I was also going to go back to. I mean, this is a young couple, recently married, 4 months, as at the time he put up the post. So it's like, if she's not doing this now, when, right? But also, you made a very, very valid point. Different backgrounds. He probably didn't grow up experiencing love in this form or in this dimension, and she grew up understanding that this is how you show someone that you love them. And beyond even just her understanding, she's really, really feeling in love with the guy right now. But he says it is too much. Remember, we are going to be talking about how this relates. So for him, it's just a thing that's happening, and he probably doesn't understand why someone would be that way. And we're going to get into that conversation as to, could it be that it's a different love language for him, or is it a love language matter at all? Hello? Hello? Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Yeah, welcome.
Good evening. I'm Usman.
Welcome, Usman. Talk to me.
Just as the other caller, the last caller said, the caller that dropped, I think when the love gets far, because just, let me say, they are just enjoying their honeymoon. You understand me? So time will come. I know maybe there are some women, if immediately they get pregnant, they don't need money. They will start hating even the husband. It depends on the woman. But some women, yes, they will love the husband. So, but some, immediately they get pregnant, gone, that love. You understand? It's just too early for it to complain. It's yet to go. They still have a long journey. You understand? You are talking of 50, 70, 80 years to go. So this is just a Chinese proverb say where the 1 million miles start with one step. So they are just on the one step. You understand me? And for me also, that woman, it's like, I don't know her background, just like the other caller said.
All right. Thank you for sharing. So two of you have made reference to this thing about when she starts having children, it won't be this way. But if I understood the message in what the man was saying, I think he would be very, very much happy, Seth, when he gets to that point, because his problem is that she's not all over him. He doesn't not love her when she's not all over him. It is her being all over him that is putting him off, and he's wondering how to tell her to tone things down. So, I mean, if it's a case of, when the baby comes, he will look for it, he will not see it. Baba is not looking for that at all. In fact, he wants her to tone it down. And perhaps, if I understand what he wrote, it is even when she tones it down that, they would have a more normal kind of relationship. I don't know if you're getting the message there. So I understand when people are saying, let him enjoy it for now. He's not enjoying it, and we're going to try and figure out why. But let me get some more reactions from you. Hello. Okay, we are talking about a post that a young man put up, about his wife being too affectionate, and he's been managing it, but he's at the point where he was forced to react one day. The straw that broke the camel's back, so to speak, was when she said, "Can I?" She told him to put his head on her lap so she could give him a head massage, and she was giving him the head massage and he was enjoying it, and all of a sudden she bent down and tried to kiss him all over his face, and that irritated him, and he got up and he says it's too much, it's coming across as childish. So what is normal for a lot of us, the guy is reacting to it in a different way, and though he may not understand why, we're going to try and figure out why, but he's asking, how do I tell her to tone things down without hurting her feelings? So I get where a lot of you are coming from, but to tell him, enjoy it now, he's not enjoying it too. Are we helping him or are we making things worse? Hello?
Hello, can I just crown my words?
Absolutely, please, go ahead.
Put man on the line.
Go ahead, please.
All right, if the husband would try to try this method, like she from like, my dear, I'm sick today. You understand? Or let him start coming late. You understand? Coming late. I know immediately she's asleep, woke up, maybe that chance will not be there again. Let her try that. Yes, maybe he will come by 10. But I don't know whether there will be a quarrel again. Or I'm sick. Maybe I'm sick. Let me just know her emotion if I'm sick. Maybe if I try that way, this is what's happening with.
Okay. The network is doing you one kind today, Usman. Okay. If you can call back. Let me get your conclusion on those thoughts, because I was trying to piece together what you were saying so that I can understand it better. Hello? 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 Okay. Yeah, hi. Good evening.
Hello.
Welcome. Okay. It's not clear. Kindly call back. The numbers to call are 0700-951-0000 or 080-959-74869. You can also reach out to me on WhatsApp with a message or call. That's 080-999-30137. Hello? Hello? Yeah, hi. Welcome.
Yeah, okay. My name is CJ. I'm calling from resettlement here.
Good to have you here. Go ahead.
Yeah, I said it's a very laughable situation, very funny. I can understand the young man's situation.
You can? Okay.
It's different folks with different strokes.
You
understand? Like some people are suggesting that maybe he doesn't love the young girl. No, he loves her, but too much of everything is dangerous, and he's not used to such pattern of love. You understand? So I think the best way he can use to subdue her is also to try and reciprocate the same level of love. You just have to learn that. So with that,
she will be subdued.
He can start getting used to being romantic, because it's like the girl is being over romantic, so it's like it. I just advise him to also learn how to say I love you too, And whenever he comes back, he should be the first to initiate the kiss slightly and say, baby, I'm coming, let me do one or two, or let me have some rest. So with that, I think he can just balance the situation instead of outrightly trying to. There's no way you can tell the girl to tone it down. Besides, yes, they are just newly married couple. You said 4 months, right?
Yes, 4 months.
And then the other thing he should do is he just use this opportunity to get pregnant, so that when the girl will be busy with baby and all that, during the second trimester, all these things will just go down, or the last trimester. And when baby comes in, the whole love will be diverted to baby. So he should just use his time to play his role well and get her pregnant. Now, what is he waiting for?
Okay.
He can have any to do his perfect job.
Hey, God, this advice people are giving. You are giving it with a touch of. You are giving it with a touch of deal with her back. Just deal with.
Deal with her back. Use the opportunity to get her pregnant. Then once they become, there will be distraction, and you will get your freedom. And I believe me, I can just keep myself and tell the young man comes that when the attention will be diverted on the baby or baby, he will start looking for it.
After she has
That
the
is
baby
just
in
the
call.
truth.
After she has the baby in call.
Attention will be diverted to the baby now.
Where do people get this your theories from?
For the same thing.
Where do people get this your theories from? That's really, once a woman has a baby, that's it. She loses her romantic side. She doesn't want to, give and receive attention as much again. Mm-hmm.
I'm a married man.
There you go.
Not
Okay.
outright losing it outrightly. But once baby comes like this, you will understand that you will just notice that some attention has been divided.
Okay.
You understand? It's just like I'm the last one to my mother.
Okay.
My mother was all over me until she saw my grandchildren. And she no longer asked me, how are you again? What should you say? What about my children and your wife?
I
was discarded.
I like the example you just gave. How long did it take for, I mean, perhaps you may not want to give that much information, but I'm sure it was a couple of decades before you started having children that diverted her attention. So
yes, of
in
course.
that time, were you not adjusted to the attention that she was giving you?
I think you said what?
So you said when you started having children, your mother, you had being all over you, changed to your. I'm sure it took a couple of decades for that diversion to come, right? So in that time now, did you tell her to tone it down? Abi, were you manning up and taking it?
I was enjoying it too.
You see?
I was enjoying it.
I see.
In fact, I never make any mistake then now. In fact, I don't commit any
You can't
crime.
go wrong.
I do anything.
I know.
It can always be a mistake, not that I did it intentional. So it was so sweet. Being a last born, I love it so much. So just tell the young man to if he's listening to me, he just do his job very well now. Once the children start coming, attention will be divided. And the thing will tone down naturally. It's not something you should complain about.
Okay.
I can understand his feelings. So many people are looking for it, but they say different strokes. Different folks with different strokes. Mm-hmm. So you should just manage it while it lasts.
Okay. Manage it, he says. Thank you so much for sharing. Getting quite some interesting perspectives to this whole thing. Louis from Durumi says, now, wow, well, like they say, one man's like is another man's dislike. Maybe his previous relationships have never been romantic. So he should try as much as he can to manage the situation. Coming late is not a good option, please. So it is this management now that I want to hear from you people. The last caller said he had to deal with it, even though it was from a mother to son perspective. But in the couple of decades it took for the diversion or the distraction to come about, he said he was enjoying it. So this man is asking, how can he manage this situation now without hurting his wife's feelings? And I don't know if you've answered that question yet. Let's see if the next few callers can try and answer that for me. Okay. I have someone sharing here. He says, it's a turn off for me as well. Okay. Now is not the time for this message not to open. There we go. Sonny from Lugbe says, it's a turn off for me as well. I believe showing physical affection for couples should come with balance. The solution to this is have a conversation and talk about how they both feel about physical affection. Sonny from Lugbe with that one. And Franklin from Area 1 says, I'm currently facing this kind of issue, though I'm not married. But trust me, some ladies show too much of these things. Not blaming her. It might be traced back to how both of us were raised. But for me, I feel my woman should give me that little space for me to miss her, crave for her, not her getting all over me all the time. They might be married, but the man might be interested in more good conversation, probably how his day went, and those things might flow naturally from both parties. So many single guys are facing this silently, video calling and all of that from girlfriends. It really sucks. Okay. The men are speaking out and they are opening up. Okay. I'll take a few more calls. I said I want to get your reactions for the first 30 minutes before we get into the science of why each person may be reacting the way that they are reacting. And I think I have a few more minutes to take maybe one or two more calls. But I've gotten both sides of a divide now. Some saying, look, Oga, you are going to look for this in the future. Stop complaining. And some actually saying, they are on the same table as this man. They view these things as being too much. And it'll be interesting to hear what the next few callers have to say. But I have to go pay some bills. When I come back, we're going to be wrapping up on that aspect of the conversation before I get into the science of these things. Okay? Stay with me. Okay, welcome back. We are sharing on the couch today a personal experience of a young couple, specifically the husband, who feels that his new wife is being too affectionate, and he gave some examples in tag just how he felt they were being childish and overly expressive in that his wife was being childish, or rather her show of affection and love was too much for him, and he viewed it as being childish. I've also had some people contribute to the conversation and say, yeah, I can relate, and these things, they're not nice at all. I've had a few people say that, and I've also had a few people say, look, this is something that we're looking for. How can he be complaining at this stage? It's too early. I said we're going to get into the science of it, but before that, let's take a few more calls. Hello.
Hello,
good evening, welcome.
How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. Talk to me. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is Atese calling from my town.
Go ahead, good to have you here.
See, the Bible says all glitters are not good. When something becomes too much, in fact, it will irritate you. Seriously, it happened to me before. I had that experience before. I tell you how I escaped this it was a war. Somebody who doesn't have any experience of a relationship before that I get into a relationship with him. Every minute you want to be seeing me. Every minute I get tired. So when something becomes too much, sometimes you see, you're not enjoying it again. The only advice for him is this, like somebody mentioning coming home late. It's very, very good.
Is it really?
Distance. Yes, if you give her distance, you see that in time, those things will begin to reduce. Just begin to give her time. You are not seeing her often, and the little time you come back home to come and spend with her, you use that little time to play love with her. Before you know, go to bed, in the morning you go to your work, come back late. When the time is not much, you see that she'll begin to reduce those things. Even she herself, she'll soon get tired. That those kind of the relationship doesn't last now. The only way to get rid of those things, if you go against her with action, you are going to spoil everything. Just give her time, distance. Begin to come back home lately. I'm not advising him to go and do anything outside.
But that's the problem. That's the problem with this stay out until it's too late. The whatever he's staying out doing will expose him to what he's not supposed to be exposed to, and I believe it will cause more problems than solutions. Don't you think?
What is the line? If, for instance, if maybe the lady comes close to her and say, please, I don't need it, please go and stay outside now. You are going to destroy everything. And once you spoil that house, you're not enjoying the house again. So the only way for you to get rid of those things is just distance, a little, but you are not going to continue forever. When you see that those things begin to reduce, then you yourself begin to come back home and time to time now. Those kind of relationship love doesn't last. If you are not anything that you are not doing with maturity, that thing can never last. So my only advice for him, he should limit the time he used to come back, you should begin to give the lady distance for him not to spoil the house and spoil the relationship. That is my advice for him.
Okay, all right. Okay, thank you. I think I'm going to go for the one where they talk to each other about it, sit down and have an open, honest conversation. And the question he asked was, how can I do this without hurting her feelings? I'm not quite sure that having a conversation about it is not going to hurt her feelings, because it's a question of understanding why she's doing what she's doing and why you are reacting the way you're reacting. So some feelings might be hurt, but I'd rather that they sat down and had an open, honest, difficult conversation about it than him avoiding the situation, avoiding her in the process, and bringing more issues because I'm picturing that I'm the woman in this situation, or I'm a woman, generally speaking, and this is the way I feel like I express my love. And you're advising my husband, newly married, to be coming back home late. But let's see. Let's get some more comments on this, and then we'll get into the science proper, after which I'll open up the phone lines back again for conversation. Dan Sofo Ikojo Solomon is watching from Pape Abuja. I see you on Facebook. Thank you so much. Babalola Oladipupo says, Mama SOMI live. Bam, I greet wholeheartedly. I greet you too specially. Thank you so much. Also, Francis Namani, watching live from Amagunze in Enugu State. Good evening, Somi, and keep up the good work. Good evening to you, also Francis Namani. You are amazing. The fact that you check in all the time, I literally see your comments on pretty much all the shows, especially when we're streaming. Well done. Okay, let's see. Nede Jonah Enojo says, watching live from Papa. I see you too. Good evening. I have a peaceful celebration this night. Chemekaji Edwin with that one. And Nai Matthew with the compliments. Thank you so much. She says, I'm looking stunning. I pray this natural hair life is not easy, but we move. Okay, let's see a few more messages on WhatsApp. Let's see. Now, while for that man, no, I'm chuckling. Is that what you wrote? Perhaps he's not the type that cherishes all this romantic stuff, and probably the guy isn't in love with her. When you love someone, you do everything. You do all the crazy things that you can't explain. He should enjoy it while it lasts. I think she's a clingy type, and to some guys, such ladies are exasperating. He should try and manage her, please. MC Genius from Asukuro. Saying a man should come home late. Saying a man should come home late as a solution is a weakness. A conversation is all it takes. Sonny from Lugbe with a follow-up. And Louis with another follow-up saying, why is it that no single lady has called to contribute on this interesting story, Somi? So, ladies, Louis has a question for you. If you're listening as a female, whether you are on the clingy side or you're not on the clingy side, I'd like to get your thoughts on the matter. I'm doing my best to hold the fort for the ladies in this conversation, but I'd very much like for the ladies to contribute as well. And Louis has noticed that none of you are calling, so please do call in and let's talk about it. All right, so let me get to the science of it, right? So a lot of us are familiar with the term love languages, and, we've talked about it a few times here on the couch as well, understanding what makes a person tick, what it is that they are more attuned to when it comes to expressing their love, right? And there was a whole book written about it, even though some have come out to say that there is no science supporting the book and how they came about the theory of love languages. As a matter of fact, some people have called it a myth because there is no scientific benefit. Now, understand that the love language conversation has been in the mainstream for about 30 years now. And so that's a long time for something to take root, right? But you have researchers who have looked into it and said, oh, there's no science to it. There's no science to it. But does that mean that they don't help relationships? Let's look at this story that we've talked about and had some of you share your thoughts and contributions on thus far. If we were to look at the love language spectrum, his wife is a physical touch kind of person. That is, they like physical, intimate connection, holding hands, touching, hugging, kissing, and more. We're coming back to the science of it, though, but some people have said there's no science to it. We'll get to all of that. But first of all, if we were to go by the love language spectrum, his wife is, she expresses her love via physical touch, right? So touch here, kiss there, hug there. They're not afraid to show PDA, right? And so I'm trying to look at this spectrum of this love language and trying to understand where this guy in question and other guys who have said, oh, I also don't like this kind of attention. I feel like it's too much and it's bringing about some sort of friction in the relationship. I don't know now because from everything the man wrote, he did not quite say what it is that he will be okay with in terms of how his wife expresses her love to him. He just says, this one that she's doing is too much and I want her to tone it down. And as much as I am not certified per se, but I'd like to get into this as much as I can and try and make sense of it. So for some people, and that's the thing about love languages, perhaps is why you're having some researchers come out and say certain things like, the science to it is not proven. Does it mean it's nonsense? No, it's not nonsense, but it can help to some extent if we're trying to analyze this guy's situation and understand what exactly is going on and how he can help him in his marriage. Because yeah, like I said, they should sit down and have a conversation. Some other people suggested they should sit down and have a conversation. But what are they going to converse about? So when he says, oh, I don't like the way you jump on me when I come back home from work and hug me and kiss me. Or like what happened the other day that you got upset about when you told me to put my head on your lap. I now put my head on your lap. You were giving me massage. The next thing you wanted to kiss me. And I got up because I was angry. Yeah, he might not be saying it in this tone because, of course, he's newlywed and he's not looking to ruin his marriage over the fact that she is too touchy-feely, right? Or even clingy to some extent. I don't know if this behavior that he was complaining about happens outside of the house. You know, the clingy thing would typically apply especially outside of the house. Yes, at home she might be like that, but they're together, they're a young couple. If she does not hold him and touch him, who is she holding and touching? No child yet, as some people rightly mentioned. But you see that thing that people were saying about when a child comes, I don't agree with that too. I don't agree with that. Yes, and I'm speaking as a mother. I don't agree with that as well. As a matter of fact, some women and what their hormones do to them will make them want to quickly jump back in the sack with their husband. So I don't think that is a general statement to make that concerns all women that when a baby comes, it may reduce, but some women still are who they are, and so they will want it every time as much as they can get it. Bad as it bad, even if they can't like get into the sack as often as possible or have sex with their husbands as often as possible. You see that touchy-feely thing? I rest my case. Okay, right? So back to the conversation. This is who she is. What would he then say? What would he then say he's okay with in terms of her expressing her love to him? We're not even hearing from the lady's side. Perhaps there's a certain way that he's expressing his love to her that she's okay with. She might be comfortable with the fact that he is not as touchy and feely as she is. And she's like, look, I have enough touchy and feely for the both of us. So leave me in my own space. And the way you are loving me, I'm okay with it as well. Even though from the post, we couldn't tell what exactly appeals to him in terms of love languages. But it's definitely not the physical touch. Is definitely not the physical touch. Like, the whole thing about enjoy it now, like some of you were saying, I really, really think that when that man impregnates his wife and she has a child or children for him, he will be much happier if, and that's a big if that does make her tone down on some of these her touchy-feely behaviors, right? But it's not a guarantee that it will. And so they may still be friction even when she has a child. So again, I'm coming back to that place where they've sat down and they're having this conversation. And that is what is bringing me back to the love languages part, because I'm trying to make sense of it. I say, yeah, she's a physical touch kind of person. What is his own? What is his own? I don't even think he's a quality time kind of person. That's another love language according to the book and pop culture and what we've come to understand today in relationships, right? Let me just run through them quickly and then we'll come back to it. You have words of affirmation, you have acts of service, you have gift giving, you have quality time and physical touch. And we have said that this physical touch is who the wife is and he's clearly not, right? We can't tell if he's a quality time kind of person, and most of you are even advising him in the opposite direction, assuming that was his own kind of thing. Like, as long as I'm in the house with you and we're spending time together and we're talking. I think someone wrote in on WhatsApp saying, for this guy, he might just be having good conversation, which sort of like falls into the category of quality time, because when you're spending quality time together, you're doing things and activities that make you both happy and fulfilled. And this can mean listening to your partner, talking to your partner, doing something, having good conversation, or just sitting together in the same space without necessarily touching each other and all of that. So for some people, that's their love language. But I don't even think that this is his own. From the post, it doesn't say whether it is or it's not, but if I was to hazard a guess, I'll say it doesn't sound like he's a quality time kind of person, right? It could be that it's giving gifts. You know, I mean, some women are big on that. Not all women. Not all women are big on giving gifts. Again, I've touched on another love language, which is where you provide tangible tokens to show your appreciation. This could be giving them a thoughtful birthday gift, picking up anything for them randomly. It doesn't have to be on a specific occasion. Or, yeah, you can just give a gift for no reason. For some people, that's their love language, right? And then the one of acts of service, which is providing help with necessary tasks, running errands, finishing a chore for them, helping them when they need it, or just generally maintaining shared spaces. Some people are great at that. And some people, let me talk about the last one and I'll come back to words of affirmation, which is providing encouraging messages to your partner, complimenting them, letting them know how much you appreciate them or acknowledge them when they do something good. Even when they do something bad, you're just assuring them and reassuring them that, it's not as bad as it is, or you can work through it together. These are the love languages, right? Now, going back to the science of this thing, I can't place this guy. I can't know for sure where to place this husband in this situation. I shall know that his wife is a physical touch kind of person. And he's going to tell her that this person that you are, I need you to tone it down. It's going to be a difficult conversation to have. It's going to be a difficult conversation to have, no matter how you want to put it. But it's a conversation that must be had. It must be had from a place of, I know that this is how you were, maybe by virtue of how you were raised or your background and all of that, but it's not doing it for me. It's not doing it for me. Now, from the fact that he's not doing it for her, for him rather, she cannot change. Like, she cannot automatically, or let me not say she cannot. Can she automatically change her way of expressing love? Now, let's understand this thing about love languages. Love languages is basically, a love language is basically how you express to someone that you love them. Now, there's a controversy of how they express it to you. And if you are a touchy kind of person, a physical touch kind of person, like this lady is, it does not mean that her husband has to be that kind of person for the relationship to work. You can have two people who express their love in two different ways and the relationship will work. Sometimes people take what they expect people to give to them in terms of showing their love and call it their own love language. You need to understand that there's a difference there. So, for example, if you are a physical touch kind of person, or rather you like for someone to touch you and, hold your hand and cuddle you and all of that to show you that they love you, you want to be careful not to forcefully expect the person to give you that if that is not their own way of expressing their love. I don't know if I'm making sense here. And I'm saying all of these things because as much as we rely on these love languages to guide us and help us in our relationships, it has some inherent technicalities in it that if you're not careful, we will get caught up. in, and it will become a problem for us. Again, I feel like the conversation this couple need to have, when they do have the conversation, will have to do with the woman saying, but this is how I show you my love. And the man will need to say, but I don't need you. This way you're showing me your love is not working for me. Can you try another way? But can she really change? Or this is how she is? He has said tone it down, but I don't even know if that is a possible thing. And yes, some of you have made recommendations of getting her pregnant, but I'm sitting down here as a woman and I'm thinking, I know how I like to show love to somebody. And if you tell me that I should tone down that thing, you are making me feel not entirely myself, and I feel like it's going to put a strain on the relationship. But for the sake of we are married, and we have to find a way forward, how do we merge our expressions of love in such a way that the other person is not feeling swallowed up by it and the other person is not feeling underwhelmed by it? So let me give you another example. A conversation with a certain group of females. A woman is complaining. She says, if I don't greet my husband, as in my Lord and Master, first thing in the morning, he will not talk to me. So like the first words that should come out of my mouth are, there's a way you can greet your husband, help me, Lord. There's a way you can greet your husband or your spouse or your partner. And there are different ways, some people. But you see this particular man in question, he wants it in a Lord and Master kind of way. I'm trying to talk about it without giving away too much because, sometimes these conversations are in the spaces that they are in. And so I don't want to overexpose, so to speak. But for some women, when they wake up in the morning, and for some men as well, or let me say for some people, you see that touch and peck on the cheek and say, oh, good morning, darling, how are you? That's it, they have greeted, but this one, she will dig way for him. She will kneel down and greet him as the first words that should come out of her mouth. And if she does not do it in that particular way, he will not talk to her for the rest of the day. Now, this is somebody that is more of a hug you in the morning. Like, you can just hug your partner and that's it. You have greeted. Maybe that you even do that, say a few words of prayer and then you've moved on with your day. But no, he wants it a particular type of way. And the way he wants it for him is the way he wants it. And she's trying as much as possible to do it the way he wants it. But it feels like so we can't have some fluidity in the relationship, it must be this way or the highway, and if I don't do it this way, you are keeping malice with me for days on end, and all of that. And it was such a conversation in the group. And while this conversation was going on, you should have seen the responses from even the females in the group. It's an all-female group, so the men were not even there. And you had people from various sides contributing and saying, this thing that someone, for instance, says, a man is the head of the home and you must give him his due respect. And nothing wrong with that. Nobody's saying disrespect your husband, but you need to understand that while you're respecting him, she's also expecting something back from you to show her that you love her. You don't just Lord and Master kneel down and greet in the morning and then you move. You're not even hugging her, you're not touching her, not everything. To her, you have not shown her that love back. She will kneel down for you, she will greet you, no problem. But what are you doing to show her that love back? For her to understand that, oh yes, by this you have shown that you love her. And I know that I'm sort of going round and round and round about this, but I'm trying to make you understand that in a relationship where two people come together, while we have the love languages to guide us, we need to understand that as much as you want someone to love you a certain kind of way, they also want you to love them a certain kind of way. And so the controversy is, where do we meet in the middle? How do we bring it together in such a way that nobody is feeling left out and another person is not feeling irritated? Or you might be there thinking that, oh, you are loving this lady and in the way you know how to love her, and she's looking at you and she's thinking, oh, so in your mind, this is love. Do you get what I mean? It can be a very tricky place to be in, right? And so, talking about love languages, we need to understand it. There may or may not be a direct science to it, but this is what we have as a guide. And if you have something else as a guide, please share with us. Let's understand so that we know how to apply these things. I think I'd like to have Benga join me in the studio right now. Benga, if you can hear me, I need to come into the studio because I've heard Benga have some conversations around this is how I know how to express my love to a woman. So why would she be wanting me to express my love to her in a different way? Benga, come, you know now, you know. Let's have this conversation, this love language thing. Because at the end of the day, this is where the problem is in this relationship from the story that I've shared. And so he's saying, I need to tell her that it's not working for me. The way she's showing her love to me is not working for me. But I don't want to hurt her feelings. I don't want to hurt her feelings. Feelings will be hard too. Let's just prepare ourselves for that possibility. But the point is, how do we move forward from there? Okay, and that's the conversation that we're having. I laid this premise out. So let me go back to opening up the phone lines and then we'll take it from there. But before then, let's see. Good evening, Somi. Now, wow. While I believe there should be balance, I think men should be careful, though. This is how they make women turn their attention to their children. And when they're all grown up and leave the home, the husband now complains that the wife's attention and love is no longer there. But it wasn't cultivated. One question, though, did they court before marriage? Patricia from Gariki with that message. Interesting question. The story doesn't say whether they courted before marriage or not. But I understand why you're asking that question because sharing the story earlier on, I also had someone who said, well, this is happening because they didn't take their time to date properly and understand the other person before they got married. Or probably, if what I was hearing from some of the guys who contributed is anything to go by, it's possible that she had always been this way, but two things will have happened. One of them being that he saw it and he just thought, well, it's not such a big deal. I can cope with it, and it's not a problem. Or she was even holding back. Let's make that three things. So the first one is he saw it and he thought it wasn't such a big deal. Or she was holding back a little bit because some women can be a bit careful, right? When they're dating. They need to know that they're 100% yours before they now start to really, really express. But I'm sure you must have seen signs of it. Especially if we're going by the term clingy. He must have seen signs of it while they were dating. But the question is, did they date properly? Just like Patricia was asking, right? And then the third thing would be what some men who have called in today have said. He probably looked at her and thought, okay, yeah, I will manage it. Is it not to give her belly? Once I knock her up, that's it. Once I knock her up, her attention is going to shift, and that will be the end of the matter. Or once I knock her up, it's going to be toned down a bit. And I would re-echo Patricia's sentiments on this. Men, be careful. If that is your thinking, going into a relationship, you need to be careful because you need to cultivate that love. In the early stages, you need to cultivate it and you need to ensure that you keep cultivating it. I really don't believe for 1 second that a woman will be so taken with her child if she's getting the attention that she's supposed to get from her husband. She would not be so taken with her child. Yes, there is that bond. There are the early stages where she's, nursing the child and she has to be there 100%. Guess what? As a husband who loves his wife and understands that phase, you are supposed to be part of that bonding process as well. And yes, we say, well, she's at home, I go to work, blah, blah, blah. But when you come back, you're supposed to take over from her. But sociocultural norms and societal pressures and expectations will not make us think along these lines. We're thinking, oh, well, she's preoccupied with the baby. No, go and preoccupy yourself with your wife and your baby. And when the baby goes to sleep, as long as it is safe, get into that love action and let her know that, me and you and I, the baby and I are worth your attention, and so you must give it to us both equally as much as possible. Of course, the baby would, in the earlier days, end up taking more of a time, especially while she's still nursing the baby. But in this day and age of Nigeria, where by the 3rd month the woman is going back to the office, or by the 4th month she's going back to the office, when she comes back, she will give baby due attention, and then she will face husband now. And so, men, please cultivate that thing. I beg. I don't believe for any second that the women, a lot of the women listening in, even though they've refused to call, but at least I've gotten a message or two from the women, so thank God for that. Even if they have the babies, but baby is baby, toddler is toddler, teenager is teenager. You cannot be so preoccupied with your child as a mother to the point that it now gets to when they go for mugo, or when the children are married. That's when you now start trying to find that love again with your wife. Please, I beg. I don't know about you people. Okay. All right, Patricia, with that message, thank you so much for sharing. Let's see. I have a voice note. Let us see. I will play the voice note, but very quickly, let me take this message. Okay. MC Genius from Asokoro, who had sent in a message earlier, let me re-echo what he says. He says, when you love someone, you do everything, you do all the crazy things. And he goes ahead to say, the man should know that a wife is different from a girlfriend. He should please take it this way. As time goes by, she would slow down. They have just started. MC Genius, again with that message. He concluded by saying she has been watching Z World and it's time for her to practically exhibit. Please, guy, take it as it is. I hear you. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Yeah. Ooh, I have a woman. Good evening. Welcome.
My name is Hannah.
I need you to speak up, please. What's your name?
My name is Hannah.
Hi, Hannah. Welcome.
Yeah. So I have a question on this matter.
Okay.
I want to ask. I don't know if they had a relationship like really dated or something, so it's private. He might have noticed, he might have seen it, and then he just says that, oh, probably it can. So if he had, my question is like, if he had seen it, and why is he having difficulty now to play with her?
Okay. Well, again, like I said, thank you for asking, Hannah. I appreciate that. Again, like I've said, 3 possible things could have happened. I don't know for a fact that he noticed it. It could be that I gave 3 different scenarios. He noticed it, he didn't think it was a big deal. Maybe she wasn't exhibiting it this much, I don't know. Or maybe he noticed it and thought, well, we are currently dating. By the time we get married, it will tone down. So just like some of the men share that, I will do my work now. When I do my work, don't worry, you will calm down by force. That's the thought on that one. So it is not really clear what he felt or what he saw while they were dating. Again, another question is, did they even date properly at all? Or was it one of those marriages that it was rush? But thank you for sharing, Anna.
Probably, sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Maybe it's childhood. Maybe it's childhood and all that. I don't know. Their love language doesn't communicate. You understand?
Yeah, which is why.
Talk about it. You can talk about it. Counsel.
Okay.
She doesn't understand the person.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Hannah, for sharing. I was saying that I wanted Gbenga to join in on the conversation because I've heard some comments being made. Again, just like Hannah said, it's a question of my love language is my love language. Your love language is your love language. How do we meet in the middle? Hi, Gbenga. How are you doing?
I'm good.
I know this is one of those conversations that you can weigh in on for us. So
okay.
I shared the story, of course, of this couple. In their cases, the wife is too clingy, and he's trying to find a way to tell her without hurting her feelings. And I've had a lot of people weighing in on the situation, but for me, it's a question of merging love languages together because she's a physical touch kind of person. It didn't say what kind of person he is, but is this love language thing, some people have said there's no actual science to it, but it doesn't mean that it doesn't work. But for it to be able to work, you need to be able to merge somebody's love language with the other person's love language, and they meet in the middle. What is your thought on love languages? Let's even start from there.
So there might not be science to it, but there's logic to it. Now let's relate it to normal languages. We've seen families where a person from a certain tribe intermarries with another tribe. So growing up as the kid in the house, you've seen your mom grow to learn the language of the father. I'm talking about literal language now.
Right.
And the same thing with the dad to the mom. And probably the children learn both. So applying that same logic, it's simple. You want to communicate with your husband, and your husband is Igbo, you are Yoruba. It gets to some point, you start calling him Igbo names, right? Just to
relate, communicate.
So why not apply it to the love language in terms of, okay. And another thing is, like you said, communication is important. Some people don't really know that their expression is frustrating. They don't know. Genuinely, that is, like you perfectly said, I've been listening through, they feel like that is their own way of expressing love.
Yeah.
But until you tell them that, personally, I really don't like phone calls, like audio calls. Either video call or text. I don't know how to just stay on the call and you're just talking. I get tired easily. But we can text for 6 hours straight and we'll just be chatting, right? Now, in that instance, it doesn't mean certain times I wouldn't just listen to you. Because I know you want to hear the voice, and I know, and I want you to feel like I want to hear your voice as well. But you also know that I prefer chatting. So sometimes just chat. Not that you would always want to call and you would always want to call, because love language, like I said, when we relate it to literal language, you have to learn the language of your partners. Another thing is, people don't really see themselves as partners in the relationship.
In the relationship,
It's probably contractual. Oh, you're the lady, I'm the guy, my own is to
do this and this and this.
Now, I'm just assuming that guy's love language probably is gifting or quality time. So him, in his mind, is, I'm the man, let me just go out, bring the money and spoil you. You are the lady, stay at home and just manage things. I'm not all of these touchy things. I fell on one interview with, was it Don Jazzy and Chinata on one of those podcasts on YouTube. And Don Jazzy was saying, see, all this, I'm feeding you, we are doing all these mushy things. I'm not that kind of person. But if it's about money and let me spoil you and let us go out, that is me. So
it's about each person, first of all, understand what the other person's mode of expression of their love is.
Communicate. It starts from communication. If you don't tell the person that, yes, you are touchy, but sometimes I just want to be on my... I have been in a relationship where I've told, see, I just want to be. I'm watching football, right? I just want to watch the match. It doesn't mean that the ball is more important than you. But at some point, you need to know that this guy actually likes sports. And I'm watching football. But you can still be with me. I've seen people develop interest in sports just because their partner likes sports.
Yes.
Just because they want to spend that time with them. You don't have anything to do with football, but you follow the person to the stadium. You follow the person to sports center at least once in a while. I have followed my girlfriend before to the salon and just sit down there for 3 hours and be like, oh, this is what these ladies feel like. And she would enjoy it, but I won't be there every time. Right? So first of all, communicate. Do I like this? Do I not like all this? I don't want to hurt your feelings. See, people grew up not knowing about hurt and pain. Pain is not a bad thing. Stop avoiding it. Stop assuming that if I tell this thing, you'll be hurt. Allow the person to feel the hurt. It's their right to express hurt. It's their right to express sadness. It's their right to express anger. You just tell them, this is how I feel. My baby, I don't like the touching too much. Sometimes we'll touch, but I just want to be on my own. And ladies indirectly like honesty. When you tell them
not indirectly, directly.
Or directly, they like honesty.
Tell me where my face is dirty.
Exactly. When you come out that way, okay, I'll try out. But she will still be touchy, and sometimes you just allow her to be touchy. But you've spoken up, and she would now try to adjust. But it starts with communication.
I like that. But just before I let you go, because we also have to bring the conversation to a close very soon. Just before I let you go, you see this thing you said about learning each other's language and occasionally trying to speak just so that you can communicate. Binga, let me look for your trouble. Live on air right now. My love language.
Yeah.
No, wait. I want you to love me by giving me gifts.
Okay.
I don't know that is my love language. I'm saying this because, you know how we ladies are.
Yeah.
I want you to love me by giving me gifts. If you give me gifts, I know that you love me, right? But your own way of showing me that you love me is different from gift giving. How are we going to balance that out?
I feel like
you're laughing, eh?
I know why you asked this question.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway, okay, so basically, like I said, it's understanding. First off, I've been in this situation literally.
Okay.
And during moments, I've shown her, or I showed her those periods that if I had, I could go the length and breadth of the earth to get you this thing. In fact, she has actually said, I know when you have money. You know, that kind of thing. Because when you have, I enjoy. But when you don't have, sometimes you as if you're avoiding me. So I know. So I already know where your heart is. I don't have to be a billionaire to be buying you things every time. But you know that if I have, you don't need to ask me. That is understanding and that's communication. And on her own part too, she buys. Because your love language, you have to speak it first for you to listen. If you don't understand Igbo, how do you want to teach your partner Igbo? So if
for you at that point.
If your love language is gift giving, you say buying gifts. Speak the language you want to hear or listen to. So,
thank you so much, Benga. I need to let you go at this point. I had to drag Benga literally from his duty post so that he can come and help me. So just in case you're wondering, on the live stream, while my head was turned away, I think I caught him off guard because ordinarily you would have seen both of us on the screen. But thank you so much for that insight, Benga. I think that's the perfect way to wrap it up on the show for the evening. And so I will... Let's see. No, let me not wrap it up. The stream will be ending, but I want to take more thoughts on this conversation as we wrap it up. Thank you so much to everyone who has contributed thus far. Olujimi Odeni, I see you. You are blessed as well. Ganiu Isiak, I see you as well. Those are my Facebook people. Very, very special. Thank you for joining in on the stream. And so when we come back from this very quick break that we're taking, I'm just going to let you talk. Now, a few insights have been shared, and I hope that just in case you are in a situation similar to what this young man is, especially for the men who have, sent in messages and said, this is me as well. And, it's irritating, it's off-putting. The key thing, communicate first and foremost. Communicate. And when you do that, you are able to understand, not just allowing the person to understand you, but you're also understanding the person and understanding why they are expressing their love to you the way they are doing it, and then try and find a middle ground. Benga made some very solid points on that one. I like the part where he said, even know yourself, know thee thyself, please. Because some people, it's not that it's not that they express their love in a certain type of way, but they want their partners to express love to them in a certain type of way. And in the words of the wise, Benga, he says, if you do not know how to speak your language, how can you even communicate with your partner? How can you teach your partner how to speak? Because at some point, you both are going to have to learn to speak each other's language so that marriage or that partnership or that relationship will go very smoothly. We'll be back to take your calls after this break. Do stay with us.
This is Nigeria Info.